I'm Emily.
I'm Aaron.
I'm Kimi Shelter.
I'm Kriss Tokaji.
We're
Starbenders,
and you're listening to Rhino Radio.
So starting it off, how are you guys?
We're doing good. Spring has sprung here in Georgia, so we're getting some nice weather and everything and getting to spend some more time outside, which is always exciting this time of year and everything. And it feels fresh and new and just kind of shaking off the last year and the weirdness. So everything feels kind of new and exciting. So that's kind of the space that we're living in right now.
But also in Atlanta, they call this fake spring.
Because we'll get hit with cold again.
Yeah.
One more time.
Yeah,
One more deep freeze.
Yeah.
there'll be like a random blizzard on like June 1st.
Yeah.
And then the next day it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just reminds me of a film I used to have called Nanny McPhee, where there was a character that was like, there'll be snow in August.
Yeah. I love Nanny McPhee.
I remember that.
Yeah.
So how did Starbenders meet and come together to create this awesomeness that you four are?
Well, it's a little bit of a saga. When I first met our producer that we work with now, I was playing guitar for another band, and Aaron played bass in that band as well. And so our producer was music directing and producing for them, and so that's how Aaron and I met. And that band broke up, and I wanted to continue to work with Nico, and I started sending him my own material, and he just said, great, put a band together. So I immediately called Aaron and said, hey, this is kind of crazy because I've never fronted a band or anything. I've just been playing guitar, but would you want to be in a band? And he said, when do we start? And so we kind of went from there. We had a couple people help us out till we got our permanent players in the band. And we met Kriss at a house party and kind of swiped him from another crew, but hey.
It worked out for us.
And then I'll let Emily tell the story of how she came into the band.
Oh man, so I moved to Atlanta, and I just put a Hail Mary out there on Craigslist and was like, please, dear God, let there be a band out there that I can play with. And then fortunately, Aaron hit me with this like crazy message, like, hey, if you're serious about this, like, hit me up, send me some material or something. And I was like, who's this dickwad?
Still embarrassed about it.
Yeah. And I responded, and we literally like probably hung out the next day and started playing.
So when she was sending me stuff, and then we talked on the phone, they didn't know that I'd done this. And so I was like, okay, guys, here's what I've been doing for the last 2 hours. Don't be mad. And then I texted them a video of her playing. And the first thing that Kimi sent back was, oh my God, I want her. Let's
I was like, get her.
Yeah.
Get her.
We both needed each other at the
Yeah,
same time.
We
It was a
absolutely
beautiful
did.
thing that happened.
Serendipity at its
Yeah.
finest.
And it's, playing in a band and music and just the entertainment industry in general is so full of all of the trappings of feeling like maybe, not understanding the timing of things or feeling like maybe you're not on to something or whatever. But the way how our band members have come to be is just a constant affirmation of the fact that we were meant to continue, because if we weren't meant to keep going forward, we wouldn't have been given the ideal person. We would have been stayed with the more unideal person and not been able to continue to grow. And as Kriss joined and as Emily joined, we grew exponentially. And so that's sort of how it became what it is. And we think it's really cool that we're a band that's about 4 people. There's not really like, the one person in it. And we noticed that in modern music, a lot of times you only know the singer's name or something like that. And we wanted to bring it back to like the times of old when you knew everyone in the band's name and they were their own character. So with how we came into each other's lives, like we were able to really, really do that and kind of see that that's where it was meant to go,
Yeah, we're like Captain Planet.
Yeah.
Our powers combined.
Yeah.
It's
We
destiny.
even all wear these bracelets.
Yeah, we
oh,
got
yeah.
matching bracelets. Yeah.
Fantastic. Aw. So, what was it like creating love potions?
Oh,
What was it
wow.
like?
That was a process,
Yeah,
that's
it was
for sure.
it was probably over a year, if I remember correctly, that it took to make that record. And we started writing and putting together material around like December of 2018, and it didn't come out till like February 2020. So, it was cool because it was our first record where we kind of put everything together all at once, like all the songs. The previous records were kind of put together at different times in between tours, and we had old songs that we wanted to like kind of bring back to the forefront. So it was cool to kind of have all the songs come together, and there was sort of an overlying theme with everything. So, and it was definitely our most ambitious material musically as well. Like we definitely went for it as far as like parts and trying to write and put together the best songs that we could. So we're really proud of that record, but it was definitely like an arduous, we really had to fight for certain things, but in the end, like, I think that's kind of what made it what it is as a record. It's really powerful because I think there was such a struggle and such a fight behind it.
Yeah. And how long? There's like 12 or 14 songs, but then we probably did like 30 or some
Yeah,
shit
there
for
was
this record.
20 or 30.
Some of which ended up being on the deluxe version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
For sure.
We just couldn't let him go.
Yeah, all those songs are precious to us.
Yes.
Well, there was just so much material that we had, and I mean that just tells you how like awesome Kimi is as a writer.
Mhm.
She just can like turn that shit out. It's incredible. It's so
Prolific as
cool.
fuck.
Yeah. So me and the boys are
Sinks
just like,
into
yes,
her.
ma'am, we're here.
Yeah.
No, we've got a great alchemical process that everyone has their own thing that they bring to the table, and it allows things to be quite fluid once we get down to it. And it's just something that the creative has always been very in flow. So we're really fortunate for that, because it's funny, when it comes time for farming out or, putting together a new crop, it's just kind of like you get to pick the best of the best. So, which is always great. It's better to have more than less.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. And as someone that actually, hang on, I think it's still back here because I haven't found a place for it. But yeah, I got the.
Yeah, nice.
Oh.
I got a sleeping part on my laptop, but yeah, I absolutely adore that record. So,
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank you.
what was the decision behind making the Zodiac Deluxe then?
Well, for the Zodiac Deluxe, honestly, like with the pandemic hitting, we just wanted to put that shit out again.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, did anyone hear this
Yeah.
initially?
Yeah.
So let's just do it again.
Yeah.
Plus some songs.
Yeah.
It's our new record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was because it came out at the, February of 2020, which 1 month later here in the States, everything went into lockdown. And we were able to play 28 shows in January, and we were supposed to we had about 3 or 4 more tours lined up after that. And we did the release show for the record, and everything's like flying high, and then it shuts down, but it is what it is. We did have the opportunity and the support from our label to put out the deluxe, which was really cool, and Zodiac comes from Emily's brainchild of our fan club that we came out with. That's a quarterly fan club where people get things in the mail, and we based it sort of on those like Lisa Frank type fan clubs and all these things, and we just wanted to sort of write a love letter to the people that had been with us, and start like establishing that connection there too.
Yeah.
We also had a lot of other songs that we really wanted to put out as well, like Leftover, and we were like, this is probably our last chance to do it, and so we took that chance.
Yeah, and they were our Japanese bonus singles. So we, you know, they had been out in Japan, so it was cool to kind of put them over here as well.
Brilliant. So what would you say is your favorite song from the album?
Individually or as a band?
Individually.
Okay, I have to think about this.
Yeah.
I do too. Actually, I would say, like, personally, to me, like, Love Potions is an anthology, and it's like asking me to pick which chapter of a book is my favorite. You know, I like the whole
That's
thing.
very well said,
Yeah.
Aaron.
I was waiting
It's a
for
good
him to kind of,
non-answer.
I was waiting for him to kind of explain what anthology meant. I was like,
It's like, let the people know what anthology means.
I was like, can we get a definition? But yeah, now that it's very
like-
clearly
It's
defined.
like chapter 5, man, Starbenders
Yeah.
was really
Yeah.
fucked up at this point.
Yeah.
Chapter 5.
It's as they say, clearly undefined.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Well,
I
wait,
don't-
what is your favorite?
Yeah,
do you
like-
have a favorite song?
That was his non-answer.
No, that was my
Oh, that was
non-answer.
your non-answer.
Yeah, thank
That's a
you.
very clever non-answer right
That
there.
is.
I really dig. It is difficult. I dig, you know, like Holy Mother and all that stuff, because they were our kickoff for the record, and there's just so many special moments within the anthology.
I mean, I do recall, like,
I
the
know what it
moments,
is.
though. I do
Cat,
Let's reiterate what
cat,
that means.
a horde of cats. It's like a pack of cats that run wild. She's like, what the fuck?
This is the problem with this question, is because it's more like, what mood are you in? And then I'll tell you the song for that mood. You know, every song is so different.
Yeah.
Changes for me.
It's probably true for a lot of people who
Like,
just
oh,
listen
you
to
feeling
it, not just
broody
us.
and like in your feels, then maybe you should listen to Push.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You feel like breaking some shit, maybe you should listen to Coming Up Roses.
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know?
We have a song for every part of your cycle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Aaron goes,
Yeah.
I only have one part.
I'm like, you know what? When I'm week 2, I'm more of a can't cheat time. But once that progesterone kicks in week 3, I'm like never gonna
You're like
die.
never
Yeah.
gonna die. Yeah.
Something ain't right.
By the
You
end,
know?
you're hanging on
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God! Too bad Blood's
It's an
not on that
album of the
record.
Fuck.
Sorry. Anyways.
Okay, Chris, what's
Yeah.
your favorite song?
Yeah.
What stage of your period are you in?
Oh.
Well,
Are you in your luteal phase?
I guess so. So that means that my favorite song is. I've always loved. I'm like Holy Mother when it came. You know, like when we released it, I was just like really stoked on that one, and so that was my favorite for a long time. But then when the whole record came out, like when we started playing Coming Up Roses, we were able to play a few of the songs live when we had the chance to play live before the record came out, and Coming Up Roses was in the set. And for some reason, that song was just like so cathartic and so powerful when we played it live. And, you know, I remember when Kimi showed us the demo and I was just like, this is such an odd, beautiful, vicious, crazy song. And you know, that's been my favorite for a long time.
Yeah, that was
So,
awesome.
Yeah. Everything about it, the guitar solo, you know, just the whole mood is,
The
I think it kind of
perspective.
sums us up, you know, because it has like this kind of interesting, like softer verse, but then it goes into this different key for the chorus and it's like fucking, you know, vicious. So yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah, hope we can curse on this. Cause
Yeah, sorry, I just totally went for it.
Yeah.
we've
You
been
can-
doing
So
it.
we'll answer the whole album.
Yes,
The
basically
whole
the whole album.
Yeah.
That's our collective answer.
Yeah.
If there were like 12 of us in the band, it would really work out.
Yeah.
Just all say each song.
Yeah.
So what has the reaction been like to Love Potions?
It's been great, and it's really funny because I kind of have a cheeky laugh to myself when people say you guys are so underrated, and I'm like, we're not underrated, we're accurately loved, we're just lesser discovered.
Yeah.
Let me be clear here, we're far from being underrated, because the people that do know about us, you know,
Yeah, they get it.
they give it up, you know. And so with the record and everything, the response has been great, but it's a brand new world with not being able to tour. When you put a record out, you go on a whole release schedule, and you tour and you do radio interviews and you work the record. So that's been different, but our way of coping with it was to try to put out a lot of music videos. So I think we put out how many videos?
Like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
I would say 10 at least.
Yeah,
I mean,
including the
acoustics,
acoustics.
Include
Yeah.
acoustic stuff. Yeah, it's up
Yeah,
there.
so we just tried to breathe some life into it and allow people to have that visual accompaniment to the record that they would have gotten on the tour, and then also the fan clubs, so they are able to have the community as well. Obviously, we can't emulate a show without it being, an actual show, but we're just trying our best to give people community and the visual and the life behind the record, and putting it out, the 1 year and everything helps too. And I mean, it's been fun, and it's really funny because we've not really been able to see these songs on stage yet, and it's going to be a trip once we are able to go tour and play some of these songs. And it's funny because we've been playing them for so long now. We didn't even really realize until yesterday that so many of them haven't even been played live yet.
I've been on a
You know.
stage.
So, and we did that live performance from Maze Studios, and so we were able to show some of our live show in that as well. But nothing will ever touch a live show but a live show. But
Especially our live show.
Yeah.
Especially ours.
Yeah. So we're just doing our best and adapting, and that's, I think, what the musician of the future is just going to look like. It's just like someone that can adapt, and so that's what this record has been, is adaptive. So
Fantastic. So a lot of people describe your sound and style as like a comeback of glam rock. Would you say that is a big influence for you guys?
No, not at all.
Don't know
Yes,
where they
no,
get that.
absolutely.
What's glam rock?
Yeah.
What is this glam rock you speak of?
Yeah. I think stylistically and creatively, we've always been inspired by all of that stuff, obviously, and we do our best to not be derivative. We're certainly not iconoclasts. Like, we don't think we originated any of this shit. Like, my people always like call me like Johnny Thunders or Nikki Sixx, and like we joke around because I'm like, I never realized how many men wanted to sleep with Johnny Thunders and Nikki Sixx, because so many dudes will be like, you look like Johnny Thunders. I'm like, do you want to bang Johnny Thunders?
Oh my God.
Just admit it.
Yeah. Okay, I can wrap my head around that.
Well, who among us hasn't thought about it at least?
Yeah. Oh my God. But yeah, we just are inspired by what all these guys did, which was dumpster dive and get their clothes from their, so some of them were getting their clothes from their mom's closets and their grandmother's closets, and it was just so obscure for them to be wearing these kind of blousey type things and in that time. And I get all of our clothes from secondhand stores and Goodwills and thrift stores and things like that, and it's just whatever is there. And so we are able to rock a lot of vintage and everything, but there's modern pieces in there too. It's just kind of whatever, you just pull the lever and whatever is there is there, and then we put it in that framework of the things that inspire us from the past. But we're just kind of, we just like cool shit, and so it's a little all over the place, but that's kind of what it's all about. I think if you try to just be one thing, you're kind of failing yourself. You're not allowing your own adaptation of it to sort of come out.
Yeah. I think also because we come from a generation that grew up with the internet, so it's like everybody's influenced by everyone. There's not like like back in the day, from what I know, from what I hear, it's like most people, there was one specific type of music that was popular, and that's what mostly everybody would gravitate towards and try to emulate. But now, because of the internet, you can pull from so many different styles and so many different artists from all walks of life, and so it's like really it's just about you can be kind of deliberate on how you want to sound. You can kind of pick and choose at will now, because it's like you know, there's so many different styles of music that have come out since then as well.
Mhm.
So I think that's a big part of it too.
Yeah, and
you know.
to go off of what Kriss is saying, it does get annoying when people just try to put you in one box per se. Because yeah, we all come from so many backgrounds. I mean, I come from pop punk kind of playing and stylistically wise, and then like Kimi loves metal and shit. I mean, so does Kriss.
We all love
But
that.
yeah, but then you have like Black Sabbath or like any pop shit, and it's just all over the place.
Yeah, I think I was able to sum it up at one point in saying that our band is kind of like a Rorschach test. It tells us more about the person than it does about us. You know, like some people are going to look at it and be like, that's a sailboat or that's a hummingbird, you know? So it's like, it just depends.
Is that like the thing where
Yeah,
they
it's
hold
like,
up a
yeah,
black
and you have to
water?
say what the shape,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's like, so that's kind of just, that's just how it is, you know, and it's a living, breathing thing. And I'm certainly, I'm never offended when someone's like, oh, you guys are bringing that back or doing that. I mean, because that's their, you know, art is open to the, you know, the interpreter.
Yeah.
And once you put it out there, like you can't, that's part of letting go of art, is that people are going to interpret and see it how they're going to see it. And you don't make and create in order to control how other people are going to see it. Part of the rush is allowing people to put their own take on it. And there's some people that will focus on one thing and see it one way, but that's what's cool. And so it's like, I never get hung up on what we get labeled or, you know, whatever. But to answer your question, yeah, we love 70s glam.
Yeah, we love glam rock.
We think
One of our favorites, yeah.
we just think rock and roll is more fun when you can dress up on it.
Yeah.
I mean, literally same. So
I know
I love that shirt.
you're in the crew.
So when gigs come back, is there anywhere in particular you would like to perform?
We just want to play anywhere that'll take us,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, at this point, we're like,
We're
Yeah.
kind of choosing beggars if we would
Yeah.
be that more specific than
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, love to play in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I miss it.
I
Yeah,
love
Yeah.
doing
that was our
hometown
last show. Our last
Mhm.
real show was our record release, and it was really, you know, sad to think about it, you know, because it was over a year at this point.
Yeah, and they're actually starting shows in Nashville this weekend, I believe. It's going to be the first shows that are back in Nashville, and they say that they're going to be socially distanced and everything. I'm just curious to see how it goes for these guys, you know, and that, you know, things are going to be shaken out. And so really we'll just probably end up following the trail of the first places to open back up. And we're not afraid to get on a plane and travel and go places. And so really it'll be just whatever comes down the pike first. But we were ready to start touring the world and doing all that stuff before everything shut down. So honestly, we'll just pick up right where we left off.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and when the UK opens up, we're definitely going to play
Yeah.
there. Like that's
I know it's been a
Top
crime. It's been a crime that we haven't played in the UK yet. You know.
Well, when you guys come over, I'm going to be right at the front. It's going to be
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a promise.
We'll put you on that list, girl.
So I basically binged through all of your music videos because I do that with every interview, but especially with you guys. How do you come up with the concepts for each of them?
Well, some directors that we work with are such visionaries that they get so inspired by what we do that especially Ben Roberts and Katie Roberts from Dominar, they interpret it how they see it, and then they tell us what it made them think of. And we think that's really cool to be hands off and go with what their vision was. And so when we work with Dominar, they're definitely dreaming up the treatments. And, you know, they did London and, you know, Time Stops, Powder, all those videos. And the most recent director that we were working with, we just were going so ragtag. We were all kind of think tanking all of the treatments and
Those
everything.
were so much fun.
Yeah, and it was kind of, we were just flying by the seat of our pants. Like with Cover Me, it was just like, honestly, and the video probably looks like this. We were just like, yeah, and then we have a pig mask, so then there's going to be a pig demon, and he's going to pop up, and you know, and then we're going to fight him. Yeah.
And they were like, "Yo, dude,
Yeah.
hear me out.
Yeah.
What if they shot it with laser guns?"
Yeah.
You know, just we went so over the top and absurd. Some of the most fun I've had.
It sounded like a band that was stuck in their house for like months on end and
Yeah.
started coming up with ideas. That's basically what those videos are.
Yeah, so we just kind of, this past year, it was a little bit more collaborative with our director, with thinking things up. But I think that, I don't know, we're into all of it. We also are fine with, you know, if someone came to us and they said, I saw this and, you know, it made me think of this, and I think we should do, you know, this video for that song, I would be like, yeah, no problem, let's go.
Yep.
It's cool to see other people's interpretation.
Absolutely.
Like summoning a demon with a Ouija board just to get pizza.
Yeah. And a big part of it is, you know,
Anything for pizza.
yeah,
That was the end goal for sure.
our producer, manager, creative director, fucking sensei. He's like fucking everything. But he, you know, a lot of that was him too, because he's so childlike in his imagination. Like he's very spriteful and how he sees stuff. And so it's like the Ouija board, all that stuff, like, you know, that was definitely all Nico, like all of those things.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. I mean, we've got a great team, and there's never really a shortage of ideas and things like that. So long as we've got someone that's willing in front of us with a camera, you know, we make something happen.
We'll go for it.
You know,
We'll do whatever.
Brilliant. I think because I'm part of the Discord as well. Like I think I
sick.
like why, and so like, and I just suggested better than Papa John's, quicker than Domino's, cheaper than Pizza Hut.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So one of your songs, Precious, features Remington from Palais Royale. What was it like working with him on one of your songs?
We did a tour with Palais, probably, was it 2 or 3 years ago
I
now?
think it was 2019.
May 2019.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
And so we kind of met them through that tour, and Emily and I are in the show Paradise City. And so, you know, Remington does, and Palais does a lot of the music for Paradise City. And when we were putting the record together, our label was like, hey, can you guys, you know, cover Precious and you know, for the show, for the soundtrack. So we did it, and then we said, hey, do you think Remington would be into singing on this? And he did, and it came out so good that we ended up putting it on our record, you know. So I mean, that's just sort of how it came to be, and that's what's cool about being on Sumerian, because there's just so many other like cool artists, and it feels like the place to be, and it's a kind of a communal label and everything. And so it just was natural and fun, and came out great.
Yeah.
Fab. I've got American Satan in the other room, so
Nice. Yeah, and the show's coming out March 25th. So we can't wait. We have no idea. You know, because it was such a whirlwind when we shot it. So, you know, we're looking forward to it. It'll be a trip for sure.
Fantastic. So this is my kind of like almost famous question, but
Yeah.
what does music mean to you?
That's a deep
Everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
Life.
that's a good answer. This is all we do,
Yeah.
honestly. Like everything we do comes back or is in service of this art project that we call Starbenders. I couldn't answer it better than Emily. Like it does mean everything.
Yeah.
You know, to us.
I didn't grow up with religion or God or any of that stuff. My parents were very hands off as far as spirituality, and you know, they always said, if you ever were interested in any of that stuff, you're free to go do it. So we weren't really taught about it, and so I never really had a relationship with any sort of spirituality. And my relationship with that was music, and it took me a little while to realize that music was how I felt and understood something greater than myself and a higher power. And it was also the threshold to me, you know, having a connection with the other side or things greater than myself, and creating that bridge to, you know, the higher planes. And when I think about, like, you know, where does things come from when I'm writing, like, you know, where does it come from? Like, what is that? Or even like these guys sitting next to me and them being in my life, or us, you know, being in Atlanta and I'm able to still like play together and stuff this past year, and how like our lane has always been, our path has always been unobstructed, and that's, music to me is synonymous with God or higher power, religion, all of that stuff. And so that's kind of what it is to me. It's my higher power,
That's what I meant.
I love how I said that that was my almost famous question, and you gave me the almost famous answer, which is
That's true. That's very true. Yeah, it's existential, man.
Yeah.
Can you tell that's one of my favorite movies?
Me too.
It's a
Me
great
too.
movie.
I am a
Great
golden
movie.
god.
I like drugs.
Yeah, that shit's awesome.
So just to close everything off, what is next for Starbenders?
We've got the show coming out. We're supposed to be going to Japan in late April, and
I think the show comes out March
25th.
25th. Yeah.
And we're in the process of getting some new stuff out the door, new singles and everything like that, and it'll just be cranking it out, and we're just ready to burst out into the world like a butterfly from a cocoon.
Yeah, I mean, the world might have stopped, but we sure didn't.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
Subscribe. Subscribe.